what do you do when you aren't feeling as connected to your friend? Maybe y'all are in different life stages and you're like, oh my gosh, she has kids, I do not. We can't connect. Whether she moved and you are noticing her like making friends around the area, maybe calling you less, regardless of the reasoning for the lack of connection, I am going to give you a pathway today that will help you connect more with that person, feel more meaningfully connected, and or decide if it's something that you want to put effort towards. It is a four-part method that will help you know, okay, here's what we're going to do to feel more connected, or I don't want to put in the effort, so I'm not going to. This 4-part method will help you make those decisions and help you feel grounded in applying them. I am really excited about this episode. Y'all, this episode, let me just tell ya, is something that I have been thinking about for years. So by the way, hi, welcome. If you're brand new, hello, come on in. Cute outfit, get comfy. Oh my gosh. Let's talk about connecting in friendships that maybe we're feeling a little bit disconnected. Let's talk about it. But for those of you that don't know me, hi, I'm Jewel. And for the past 5 years, over 5 years now, it's probably actually closer to 6 years now, I have been helping people from all over the world make friends, have more meaningful friendships, and overcome high-functioning social anxiety, feel more socially confident and authentic, and just enjoy themselves. And I freaking love it. And this episode is something that I have been playing with and thinking about. I am not kidding. In the background, stewing on it for the entire time I've been working with individuals, because there is no one size fits all. And if anybody ever tells you this one thing will work every single time to help with your marriage, help with your friendship, whatever, because here's the thing, friendships, just like humans, they're so unique. And so I feel like this 4-part method really helps give anybody, no matter where you are at in the situation, an advice and a way to go. Apply what is actually authentic to you, because you're a unique individual, your friend's a unique individual, the friendship dynamic that y'all have is unique to you. And I feel like this 4-part method really helps you navigate that in an organized way that feels good to you. Now, I will also say, y'all, I'm really worried about my cat. And yes, that doesn't have a lot to do with today's topic, but I just want to tell you, I am like feeling really heavy right now, and that's okay. I'm worried about my little baby. My little baby is 5.5 pounds, love of my life. No offense, Erin. And she is 18 years old. Yep. I actually have her on my water cup right here. That's her. Is it gonna focus? There we go. That's my Pudge. Sometimes when people come over, I give them Pudge merch. That's her Pudge merch. Anyway, I'm a little worried about my cat, so I'm feeling a little heavy today. And it's not something, right, I have to be sorry about, and I'm having a human experience and emotion, but I also feel like if you're noticing, oh, the energy's a little bit different with this episode, that's why. That's okay. I also am going to be doing this episode in one take. A lot of times I will read through my notes, elaborate, and then like record again, but I'm doing this in one take, which, sorry to my editor, Nick, appreciate you, because I am also going to get on my way out of here and go hang out with my friends. It's Friday at the time I'm recording this, and it's a priority for me to spend time with my friends in this life, So, we're going for imperfect, we're feeling heavy, let's talk about disconnection, baby. So, disconnection, this is something that happens a lot, right? So I gave those examples, but here are some real examples from real humans I have worked with, right? Where maybe you and your bestie used to debrief about like boy drama all of the time, and now you're happily married, they're in a happy relationship, about to be married, and you're like, oh my gosh, did we lose our thing that we connected over? Or if you have a friend who's moved across the country and she's making friends and calling you less, or if your friend just had a baby and you are grinding for your next promotion, you want to be child free, or kids are just not on the brain right now, and neither of you are doing anything wrong, but you're feeling as though you can't understand one another. Or you catch yourself thinking, oh my gosh, our conversations just aren't as deep anymore. Like, what happened? So this happens, and we all experience it. And I mean all of us. I'm going to give you a fact at the end of this episode, a research fact about how we all experience this. It's going to blow your brain away. So when we start to feel disconnected from our friends and there is no conflict that's happening, there's nothing like big and dramatic that's happening, and we're starting to feel disconnected, drifted, distant, the first thing we want to do is we want to name the connection gap. Because let's be real, right? The moment that we feel a drop in connection, it's likely that our brain will try to protect us from it in some kind of way. Sometimes a dramatic way, sometimes a petty way, right? Like it's easy to pretend that it's not happening. Like, we're just busy. I'm sure it's nothing. And then cue you later on spiraling in the shower about it. Right? Or when you feel this like little pang of disconnection in your stomach and you're like, oh my gosh, we just aren't as close as we used to be, you might also desperately search for proof that you're still close. Scrolling back through old texts, replaying voice memos, etc., right? Like going through all their IG captions like you're a detective, like, see, do they still care? And or you might decide that the whole friendship is fake and emotionally pack your bags and be like, well, if they really cared, we wouldn't have drifted away. I guess they were never my real friend. Ooh, if I am being so for real. That last one is so common in our hyper-individualistic culture here in the US of A. Just the temptation, pack it all up and be on your way, right? It's very tempting, and it's because the feeling of drifting hurts. But I promise you, none of those reactions are actually going to help you feel better or more connected. So this is why the first thing we want to do is we want to name the connection gap. The connection gap is really just calling out what's happening, right? And it's not giving the friendship like this diagnosis and this dramatic label of like, we're never going to be best friends ever again. Or this was never a real friendship. It's just saying things like, okay, well, our conversations have been less meaningful. Or if we go back to one of the examples I listed, right? Like, okay, she just had a baby and I don't know anything about babies. I don't know how to connect with her about this. And it's like her whole world right now, right? So when you actually name the gap, you're no longer swimming in like vague discomfort because you're like, oh my gosh, something's wrong with me. She secretly hates me. What went wrong? Did I say something? Like it helps you go, okay, what do I feel like is actually happening? It gives you something that you can work with, right? Instead of being like, something's wrong with me, she hates me, it becomes, oh, this makes sense. This is what's happening. Now what? This one thing changed. Now what? Right? Like taking the example from earlier of a client who they used to talk about like boy drama often. That's an easy gap to identify. Okay, we used to have bond over this all the time, right? So naming this helps turn it from an invisible egg to like a workable truth. It helps you meet the disconnection with curiosity instead of criticism. Just like how naming your emotions, like, oh, I feel angry, I feel frustrated, I feel overwhelmed. Just like naming your emotions helps you regulate them, naming disconnection helps you already start to like reconnect, be like, oh, okay, this is what's happening. And trust me, y'all, I know this so deeply because as I have talked about in previous episodes, my attachment style was fearful, avoidant, and or the disorganized attachment, which means roller coaster. And in this roller coaster, I was real quick to be like, oh my God, they hate me, everything's wrong. It's because I'm a terrible person, I'm a terrible friend. We were never really friends in the first place. They always secretly put me on the back burner. Like, instead of being like, oh, this one thing changed. And here's what I can work with, right? So once we identify the connection gap, step 2, ask yourself, how can you bridge the gap? Once you've named the gap, once you identified what actually changed, We're not going to freak out. It's the next step is how could I bridge this gap? So this question is really important. You might be like, okay, well, what if I don't know if I want to bridge the gap yet? Babe, we'll get there. I promise you, no matter what, it's helpful to ask this question. Because even if you aren't sure if you want to put in the effort to bridge the gap, this helps you see what it would actually take to feel close again before you decide if you want to try. Because sometimes when we feel disconnected, we immediately wonder, should I even bother? But that is such a loaded and hard question to answer if you don't even know what you would be trying to do. Never mind, like, oh my gosh, is it worth it? You gotta know what the bridge would look like and if that's worth it, right? So this helps make things clearer, and it helps make you realize, oh, this is doable, or oh, I don't have capacity for this. And either answer is okay, right? But you deserve to make this choice from clarity and not from confusion, right? So I'm going to give you some tips on how to ask this question. I'm going to give you an example of what this looks like, but I just want to start by saying before we dive into it, because I can hear my past self, honestly, be like, but what if I don't know if I want to make the effort? Because I'm feeling really defensive right now. That was just me. If you're like, I don't know if I want to make the effort and you're not feeling as defensive as I made it sound, I'm not calling you out, but I know me. So anyway, this isn't about forcing a fix. It's about understanding the gap before you decide if you want to cross it or not. So what this may look like is being like, okay, let's take the connection gap of she just had a baby and I have no idea how to relate to that. Okay, so a bridge could look like, all right, well, I can be super curious. I can ask her about what surprised her most. Right? If she just had a baby, you don't have any babies and you don't know what it's like to relate to that, you can try to really understand what her experience has been like, right? You could try to learn about and get curious and about her identity right now, her day-to-day experience, right? And through that, you may learn, oh, she feels like she's on demand to somebody 24/7. She feels like parts of her identity are grieving and some parts are new and exciting right now. And then with curiosity, after you are done getting curious, you can also look for togetherness, right? You can start to share where you are at too. Maybe you didn't just give birth to a human, but maybe you just became a manager and it's stretching you in ways that you didn't expect. Maybe you're learning how to set boundaries, hold people accountable, and stay soft without getting like steamrolled. And so you actually have something in common where you both are trying to lead and adjusting to these new identities, right? So there's the bridge. Maybe if we go with that example of connecting over boy drama and now you are both in happy relationships, you could still talk about those memories that you have of bonding over that boy drama. That's still like a precious and fun memory to still bond over even now. And you could think about, okay, what was it like for her to navigate and settle into a healthy relationship? And what's that like for me now? And what does that look like on a day-to-day basis? What is her experience? What's mine? Right? But when you're answering this question, how can you bridge the gap? It's really helpful to get curious and to look for togetherness. Right? There's almost always something to be curious about. There's almost always something that you can be in it together with that you have in common, even if it's just like by being confused or overwhelmed by life in general, right? So then from here, after being curious and looking for togetherness, you might also entertain the idea of talking to your friend about how you used to feel disconnected. Not to blame, not to guilt trip, but to simply name your experience and open the door, right? So maybe something like, hey, I've been feeling a little off in our friendship recently, but it's made me realize like I really miss feeling closer to you. And I don't know if you felt that too, but I would love to find ways to reconnect. Y'all, that honesty, it's not demanding, it's expressing a desire for closeness. Like that is honestly like being a skilled connector, right? And sometimes, y'all, that invitation to talk, if that's something that you decide you want to do, like that's enough to restart the flow and to already start feeling connected. Okay? So that was step 2. Ask yourself that question. And then you can go on to step 3, where you can be like, okay, do I want to prioritize reconnection? Again, this is so huge to do after the second question, because now we're making this decision from truth, not panic, not distress, not from a resentful place that may not totally be where our authentic truth lies. So ask this question by being like, okay, does the idea of putting in this little effort to reconnect, does it feel life-giving or life-draining? When you are deciding if you want to prioritize reconnecting or not, you can also ask like, okay, do I want to nurture this friendship in its new form? You can also ask like, okay, is it okay to like gently let it shift and invest more energy elsewhere? Y'all, those questions, listen to how you feel in your body. There's no right or wrong answer. Trust yourself. And then step 4, no matter what, no matter if you decided that you are going to initiate and bridge the connection, or you're going to focus your energy elsewhere, no matter what you decided, thank the friendship. Thank the friendship. Thank you for the era of like boy drama breakdowns that we got to do this together. Thank you for being my safe space in that season. Thank you for being my partner in joy in this chapter. Thank you for everything you gave me. I'll always be grateful for this bond, right? Take a moment to thank the friendship, because y'all, those sentences I just said, it can help you feel more at peace, even if things don't go back to how they were. Because sometimes even when we want to feel close again and we are going to bridge the gap, there's no guarantee that the friendship will return to its most connected, its original rhythm. And that's why this step is so essential. Because thanking the friendship helps you carry that pain of the friendship changing without it hardening you. Because the truth is, and here's that fact I told you about at the beginning of the episode. The truth is, research says we will all experience friendship shifts and changes at some point. Because research shows that every 7 years, our friendships change. Who is our best friend becomes our good friend. Somebody is no longer our friend and we have a new friend. Every 7 years, our relationships have changed. And while that can feel painful to acknowledge and may create some anxiety within you, it's also a part of what makes friendship beautiful. Because friendship allows us to connect deeply without the pressure of a hard commitment. It allows connection to flow into our lives and into our tapestries of community and flow. Like one time, y'all, my absolute best friend who I did everything with became like my good friend. And then because of friendship and allows this dynamic, now she is like my best friend, my go-to again. Right? Y'all, letting yourself appreciate the role that this played in your life, thanking the friendship itself, is going to help you not become bitter or closed off. It's going to help you be open to future connection as well, open to new friendships, open to loving other people and receiving love in different ways. Because it's like, oh, thank you, that friendship was good. And even though there's that like pain and there's that little bit of grief, there's also love there. And if you're like, okay, but I am definitely going to bridge the connection gap, and I have a feeling that bridging the connection gap is actually going to go really well, and this person and I are going to reestablish our original connection. So still, thank the friendship. This step still helps because gratitude puts you in a state of feeling connection. It helps remind you why this person mattered to you in the first place. This step also helps you feel more connected, more loving, and more ready to reach out rather than being anxious to reach out. That anxiety buzz might still be there, but now you have this other buzz of, I'm excited to reconnect with you. All in all, step 4 is essential because it helps you feel more connected. Now, I'm going to go hang out with some of my friends. Wow, in like 20 minutes of me recording this episode, 20 minutes to represent 5 years of thinking about this. Such is life. If this meant something to you, it would mean so much to me if you shared this to your Instagram story, and if you let me know what you want to hear next in the comments. I am delighted to be here. I'm delighted that you came here and hung out with me today, and I hope you have a socially delightful week. Talk to you guys next time.